Still not quite done with this email. Let's keep going.
Group question 3. Is Natsuki cute?
Ugh. She is.
Yup.
Do I even need to say I'm not cute at this point? She's cute. She is, of course, cute. However, calling her cute reinforces the idea that her character is centered around her cuteness. And she, quite understandably, does not like that. She is much more than simply someone who is cute. She is also witty and insightful, and an excellent judge of character and a good friend. She is honest and open, and understands people well.
And caustic.
And sometimes very caustic, yes. But to reduce someone so complex and gifted to the single word cute diminishes her character. It reduces her to a stereotype. That's why she hates it so much. So, while she is cute, she appreciates it if you don't make that the centerpiece of your interaction with her. Okay, yeah, that's all true. Except I'm not cute. Get it straight.
There are a few things I would like to point out regarding the recent event. 1. I want to say congrats to MC and Sayori getting together. I sent good luck and prayers that everything works out in the end for you guys and your future together. 2. I can see you, Yuri, having the potential for a very bright future ahead of you. Keep it up. You're doing fantastic. Natsuki, stop smoking so much. It's ruining your health, and you don't want the side effects to manifest later in life. I don't care if you're immortal or not. 4. For MC, if you are unable to give at least some kind of rough sketch of your future goals, I suggest you take some time as soon as possible and start budgeting your life out. Kind of just get out a piece of paper and start writing things down. Things you want to accomplish, places you want to go, etc. And don't use your perception of being immortal to keep yourself from taking on more responsibility.
Second to last part of this email. Heck of an email. Yeah, it was long but thoughtful.
Thanks for your well wishes. I hope things work out for us too. But I've learned that the thing you need to focus on are things working out right now. And they are.
Yeah, live in the now. Seize the moment. Rest the day.
Exactly.
Thank you for the compliment. I'm not sure what precisely constitutes a bright future in a computer simulation, but I suppose a fulfilling life is what I should hope for. And hopefully I will achieve that. You don't control me, man. I'll smoke if I damn well please. But it being potentially bad for me is noted. I knew that already, though, when I started. I just wanted to see what it was like. I think I know now, though. I guess the next challenge will be for me to quit whenever I want to do that. But I don't yet, so deal with it, I guess.
That seems like a lot of work. Plus, I don't want to get too attached to future goals, which I may or may not be able to accomplish, you know? Right now, I'm happy living life as it comes. I don't need to make any tough choices about what to do with my life just yet. And if that changes because we disabled the time loop or whatever, I'll have plenty of warning, I think is what it said. I accidentally hit a button. Yeah, I'll have plenty of warning. So for now, I'm just going to live one day at a time.
There's one more bit to this email. Hang on.
Oh my god. For Monica, I am not sure how to put this in words that wouldn't risk being offensive to you, so I shall apologize in advance before saying this. You can even choose not to read it if you don't want to, but I need to say it. I don't believe the path you are planning to take is a path that will provide you with everlasting happiness. I just hope that someday you make it to our reality and be with your player, because ruining your opportunities just because you're so afraid of death just doesn't seem like the Monica that I know. I mean, no pets, no spouse, and no kids is a perfect setup for a lonely, depressing, and meaningless life. A life that no one should have to go through. You mentioned before that you wouldn't want kids at some point in your life, and I will tell you right now that your opinion is not a wise or smart one. Throughout my 19 years of living on Earth, every married couple I have ever known that haven't had any kids have been utterly destroyed from the inside. Over time, the couple drifts apart and do their own thing, mainly because there isn't any single goal that both people work on together at some point, and it all crashes down eventually, regardless of how well the relationship started. Over time, the people ended up hating each other, and worst of all, have realized that they have wasted so much of their lives because they neglected the opportunity to give their lives more meaning and responsibility. Kids allow couples to focus on a single goal in mind and become so much closer because of it, assuming the other factors don't get in the way. So I greatly encourage you to go out of your comfort zone and get some experience with either animals and or kids before you cross over. Okay, before we get too far away from this subject, I just want to say something real quick. If relationships fall apart, it's because the people in them are not, like, working together, basically. Like, there are a lot of reasons relationships fall apart. You can't really pin it on any one thing, but my God, having kids to keep a relationship together is not something you want to do. Do not think having a kid will fix it. For God's sakes, do not think that. That is not the lesson you want to take away, like, ever. If a relationship is on the rocks and they're having a kid, to like, in the hopes that it'll make it better, it's just going to make things worse. It's not a substitute for fixing the problem. It's just going to exacerbate or create new problems. Please do not think what he's suggesting is actually, like, viable. All right, so where was I? I had to, like, look away while I was here. Yeah, experience with either animals and or kids before you cross over. Maybe own a pet, and maybe work in either an orphanage or do babysitting. There's so much more to life than just a career. Promise me you do at least one of these before you cross realities. If you are scared of getting a pet because you know that it will die in the future, then you most definitely need to overcome that fear. The animal will die eventually, so why not make its life so much better? That's all for that. Thank you so much for hearing me vent and rant about this, and I sincerely apologize if I have offended you in any way. It was just something that I had to get off my chest for a while now, and I am glad it is gone. And thank you, everyone, for answering my questions, comments, and concerns, sending love and support to each and every one of you beautiful bastards. Sincerely, with everlasting love, Connor F.
Yikes, that's a lot. I'll give you a minute to read it.
Oh, we've read it.
Well, one of the couples I know that's been together the longest has no kids and they don't want any. They're very happy together and have been for years and years. They work on things together because kids and their bond is very strong. Or besides kids.
I saw that was because...
I don't know what, or I don't know. I haven't made up my mind up to have kids or not. It's just something I have no intrinsic desire for. I mean, if I really do get out of here, I'll probably change my mind about a lot of things. But as to your last question, why not adopt an animal if it'll die anyway? If I don't adopt it, I won't get attached to it. And then when it dies, it won't hurt so bad. I guess that's one benefit of kids. You probably won't live long enough to get hurt by them dying. Unless you happen to be an immortal AI in the first place. I'm being depressing again.
Well, hey, I also wanted to say, if you need to teach, like, your kids about death, just get them some, like, rodents as pets. Because those things, turnover for rodents as pets is pretty high. And it's, like, a pretty easy and, like, simple way to, like, accustom people to death, as horrible as that sounds. Anyway.
Thanks for your email, Connor. It was a very interesting one. Let's see what's next.
Where are all your families at? Bees.
Oh, we get asked this a lot. Let's answer it. My parents work in another city, and I'm kind of a permanent latchkey kid. I think the simulation might be stuck that way. They visit now and again, which means I have to revert all the changes I've made to the house. But it's just me and them. I am an only child.
My parents are around. They both have jobs that keep them working late. I have a twin sister, but she goes to a different school from me, one of those fancy boarding schools. She's a lot smarter than I am, so she's earned it.
His sister is nothing like him.
It's true.
I'm an only child. My mother passed away when I was very young. But my dad is still around and he's really awesome.
Siri's dad is the nicest guy I know.
My family is complicated. My mom and my dad don't live together anymore. I have one older sister. It used to be that she lived with my mom and I lived with my dad. That was the stupid as hell arrangement they came up with. But now my sister goes to college. And she is also the only person Natsuki has total unironic respect for. Oh, that's not true. She's just the only person I let know it. I have a large, extended family, but only a few of them live with me. I have a much younger brother who goes to elementary school. My mother is a home baker. She's very traditional. My father, of course, is the breadwinner. And we also have an uncle that lives with us, my father's brother. He works at the same place as my father. Her uncle is cool, but he's kind of weird. No offense. He would not be offended. He is kind of weird, but in a good way. All right, good email. Let's move on.
This question is for any gamers. So many games have been discussed, but I'm curious about about Doom. No one played it? They got the making the soundtracks for the last two games, which are part of the reason it's popular. So, Doom?
Yeah. MC and Natsuki, it looks like you're up.
I finished Doom Eternal now. It took a while to beat it on the hardest difficulty for me, but I got there. I love how fast-paced and mobile the play feels. It's like a really twitchy Twitch game, if that makes sense. Anyway, I think it's a lot of fun. Although after like an hour of it, I have to stop and rest my eyes and thumbs, you know? What did you think, Natsuki?
The longer the icon of sin is on Earth, the stronger he will become.
Yeah, but what did you think of the gameplay?
You can't just shoot a hole into the surface of Mars.
Did you, actually play the game?
Nah, I just know the memes. First-person shooters are okay, but for the most part, they're just not my jam. There have been so many of them, you know? They all just kind of feel like slight variations on the same formula for the most part.
Yes.
There are some truly great ones, don't get me wrong. But mostly for me, it just feels like I've been there, done that with FPS games now, I guess. But Doom does have some very tasty memes, so I appreciate it.
Solid opinion, I can't knock it.
I didn't understand any of that. Let's move on.
Hello again, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. I have another romantic question for everyone. Sorry if these type of questions make any of you have uncomfortable thoughts or feelings. I know what it's like to have a romantic thought and feeling in my head and be confused about it. If any of you do, just go for it. You'll always feel better in the end. Promise. Anyway, my question is about your first kiss. How old were you when you had it? Who was it with? Where was it? How long did it last? How did it make you feel?
Oh, it's a Charlotte email. Is she the one who asked about our feelings about children before? She is.
Well, how old I was depends on what you mean by first kiss. If it's like the first time I kissed a boy at all, like other than kissing my family on the cheek or something, it was MC when I was 7, I think. I kissed him on the forehead and he kissed me on the forehead. We were playing Castle.
I forgot about Castle. We used to pretend we were the king and queen of, like, a big kingdom, and we'd build a castle, and we'd pretend a bunch of our subjects were coming with complaints and gifts and stuff. That was a fun game.
Yeah. If you mean the first time I kissed a boy, like romantically, that was also MC.
Really? But I mean, Kenzo.
We actually never kissed like that. Just pecks on the cheek and stuff. The first real kiss I had was the second morning after I nearly ran Monica's escape plan program. We were talking the night before and officially confessed and become boyfriend and girlfriend and all that. But then we were really tired and fell asleep right away.
Fell asleep, you say?
With me in the bed and him on the ground, like I told you.
And which you are apparently still doing because you guys are so pure.
Anyway, MC was laying on the ground still when I woke up and I started to move around. But he must have been awake before me because as soon as I started shifting around, he got up and walked out really quickly. What were you doing?
Brushing my teeth.
You were preparing. You had it all planned out.
I sure did.
Well, I sort of came awake and I got up before I realized MC wasn't there. I was kind of in a groggy haze. And then he walks in and he's got this look on his face. And he walks up to me with no hesitation and puts both arms around my waist and pulls me in and kisses me. Like, he really kisses me for a long time, a really long time.
I was terrified.
You didn't seem like it. Anyway, it made me feel just incredibly tingly. And everything else in my brain shut off. It was just tingles.
Same here, basically. Except I was also scared out of my mind. I'm not sure why exactly, but it took a lot of courage to do that.
Well, I'm glad you did.
My story isn't nearly that super romantic.
Mine neither.
Who did you kiss? Why have we not heard this before?
This was a couple of years ago our time, long before I knew about the simulation or before the player game. Everything was pretty normal back then, but I was still a hard worker who didn't really relax ever. Anyway, I was working as a volunteer to set up a school dance. And after it was set up, I was selling tickets, making sure trash got picked up, and just keeping an eye on everything. Making sure everyone was safe, that sort of thing. And then while I was working, this boy came up and asked me if I wanted to dance. I told him I was working. And he said he knew I was working, and that I was working too hard, and that I should take some time to enjoy myself. And then we danced. Normally I don't like dancing, and I especially don't like high school dances. But I had a lot of fun that night. And at the end of the night, to thank him I guess, I just kissed him just like that. I'm not really sure what it felt like beyond the physical sensation of lip touching. It lasted a while, and I certainly didn't hate it. But I also didn't feel any weird electric or tingly feeling like Siri and MC talked about.
Who was this boy?
I'm not sure he didn't want me to say. Nothing much came from that evening. I think I'll keep it a secret.
Fine, I'll just tell my story. This was also a couple of years ago for me. It was with Saburo. You know, that kind of tall guy?
The one who's always carrying the green school bag.
Yeah, him. I kissed him back when I was kind of weirdly in love with another boy. I think I've told you guys about it before, but I wanted to prove to myself that I didn't love that other boy. Even though I totally did. Anyway, I kissed him here at school on a break. I kind of liked it. It was pretty quick. It made me feel like kind of a badass for doing it.
I have not yet kissed anyone. Not in the way that you mean. But I would like to someday, of course. She had questions for that, too. Oh?
Oh, let's see here. And if you haven't had your first kiss yet, no judgment. How do you think it'll feel? Do you know who you would want to do it with? No need to tell who if you're uncomfortable, just if you know. And how would you want it to go? Location, time, level of intimacy and relationship with the person, etc.
I see. I have no idea how it will feel. I presume, from my friend's experiences, that it will be a pleasant experience. I have a few ideas for the sort of person I would want it to be with. Suffice to say, it would have to be someone I was very comfortable with and felt safe around. As for the setting, well, I'd probably be a perfectionist about it. Maybe they'd surprise me by kissing me. I'm not sure how I'd feel about that. Ideally, I would want to be able to set the mood myself. Somewhere private and inside. Maybe with music and pleasant aromas. Probably in the early evening. I'm probably over-planning. And it won't actually go anything like that. But I can hope. Let's see, there was one more part to this question.
Anyway, I hope this doesn't make you feel bad. You're all really cool and deserving of love and compassion. Thank you always for being here for everyone. We all appreciate you and your interesting lives. Bonus question. Would MC be comfortable cross-dressing for the club? Or at least just Sayori privately? He is a cute baby. He deserves a cute outfit and headpats from Sayori. Shakma. What?
Question seems pretty clear to me.
Well, I definitely wouldn't do it for the club. I'm not into that kind of thing. Definitely not in public at all.
But what about just for Sayori?
Why would Sayori want anything like that?
Yeah, but what if she did, though? What if she really, really wanted you to?
If she really, really wanted me to? I don't know, I have a hard time saying no to anything Sayori wants. Mostly.
Don't worry, MC. I'm not going to ask you to do anything like that. Yet.
Well, that was a fascinating email. Thank you, Charlotte. I think we have time for one more.
Do I have time for one more? I was curious to know if any of the members had ever listened to any of Dan Barrett's work. He suffers from severe depression, and his music has been an immense emotional outlet and something to empathize with. Love you all, especially Monica.
I think when I sent this around, me and Siri ended up liking it most. I'm not normally the biggest fan of this kind of jazz. I really like standard jazz or torch jazz. But this was really good. I enjoyed it a lot. What did you think, Sayori? Sayori, did you like the Dan Barrett jazz?
Oh, yes, I did. I can see why it would help you with mental struggles. It's very uplifting, and it's musically interesting enough to distract you. That always helps with me. It's good if the music has strong emotional value, whether negative or positive. Even if it's sad, it helps me focus on sort of an abstract sad feeling instead of my sad feeling. And if it's interesting as a piece of music, that's distracting in a completely different way. So yeah, this seems like good depression music. Hopefully you don't need it too much.
Alright, well I think that's all the time we have for emails today. There's just one more item on our agenda besides phone topics and so forth.
Well, gosh, if there's one more item on the agenda, then we're going to have to get to it next time. Because while they ran out of time for emails, I ran out of time for this session. So, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll catch you next time with more Doki Doki Club Meetings Season 2. Hope to see you then. Bye-bye.